Infinity. Why do you think Infinity would work on Goku?
Okay, because an infinite set of points in time where it stops one, so each set gets further and further away, so one thing can never arrive. Meaning Goku wouldn't be able to arrive at Gojo ever, unless he has a conceptual attack or a non-physical attack, which I don't think Gojo possesses.
Okay, so I where do you dimensionally scale the Infinity?
I think it would just scale anywhere like physically, any physical dimension like outer and stuff like that. Sure, you could say it wouldn't scale, but if they're on a physical plane of existence, well, I think it would work regardless of any other fact.
Did you say outer?
I said no. I'm saying if they were on any physical plane, then it would work, even if the character's outer.
Okay, that doesn't really answer my question. Where do you dimensionally scale the Infinity? Like
I'm
what
saying it
dimensional
doesn't like.
size?
Yeah, I'm saying like what dimension and size?
Yeah, what dimensional size are you giving the Infinity?
It would just encompass like the entire space that it would be in. Wait,
Okay, so
if you're talking
so
about
all
like the
right.
dimensionality of infinity, I already explained that doesn't really matter. I don't specifically scale it anywhere because on any physical plane, it will work regardless.
Okay, you realize that there's multiple physical planes, right?
Yeah, and I'm saying on any type of physical plane, there even the multitude of them, it would still work regardless because it takes up everything in the physical plane.
Okay, so the physical plane could be referring to 1D, 2D, 3D. So again,
That's
what are you
perfectly fine.
giving the Infinity?
I'm saying that's perfectly fine. It could be any of those. I'm not specifically
Oh,
scaling
okay.
it
So
anywhere.
Infinity's 1D, Goku's 4D. He just breaks it.
You don't
There you go.
understand you don't understand what I'm saying at all.
No, no,
I'm
no. You
saying
didn't understand. No, no, no. You didn't understand what I said. I asked you multiple times to dimensionally scale it, and then I said there could be multiple physical planes. I said there's 1D, 2D, 3D. You said that's fine, and I said, oh, that's fine. Okay. You said any of those too. So I said, okay, 1D, Goku's 4D. He just breaks it. So you just scaled Gojo's Infinity to one dimensional, and I scaled Goku to fourth dimensional. So
I'm saying
next
that
point.
it has a multitude of dimensional theory. So you could say it's 1D in one instance after the physical plane they're on. But if it's a physical plane of a million D, then it would be on that million D level. It doesn't regard a one specific dimensional plane. That's what I'm saying. So you could say it's 1D in one instance, but if it needs to be 10D in another instance, then it can be. That's what
So it's
I'm saying.
inconsistent. Okay, cool.
It's
Well
not
then,
inconsistent.
Goku
It
would.
just varies because it doesn't have a limitation upon it.
My guy, I'm gonna be honest with you. The way you're trying to argue Gojo is horrid. Like
I don't
100%.
think you understand.
No, no,
I'm
no,
just saying
no.
there isn't say limitation
I
or bound you can
understand.
place upon the dimensional theory on infinity,
No,
right?
I
So you're gonna
understand. But do
say
you? Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you understand vector spaces?
vectors, not really. I haven't heard of that shit in a minute.
Of course. So all right.
I'm on some TikTok a lot creative.
You said what?
I'm talking to my friend on Discord, but he wanted to know where I'm debating at or discussing or whatever. But vector spaces. Who's
If
going
you
next time?
even want to call this debating, either way, you failed to really concretely scale the infinity. So we can just say that essentially you couldn't answer that point. That's a conceded point. So we can just move on to the domain expansion.
What?
Why do
That's
you think that
retarded.
domain?
Wait, what? I blatantly gave you an answer that it would scale anywhere it needs to scale. That's a direct answer to what you're asking. You said where it does. So I'm saying anywhere. That what? What?
Okay, anywhere requires heavy substantiation. Um,
No, it doesn't. It
that's
would just
some
require
it
any
absolutely
entailment of
does.
a
It
dimensionality.
absolutely does. Have you ever heard of Sagan standard?
Bro, what is these random ass? No, okay, no, I haven't.
Okay, of course you haven't. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So in order for you to cling on to this scan that you're or this claim that you're trying to use, you would need heavy substantiation and heavy proof, and I don't think you can provide that. So since you cannot provide provide an answer to the question of what type of physical plane, because you said any of them, even after I said 1D, 2D, 3D, you said any of them without actually completely solidifying which one you're talking about. I'm just basically saying that at bare minimum 1D. Now, we
What?
can move on
Okay,
to the domain expansion.
bro.
Why do you think domain expansion would work on Goku?
Okay, because the framework of knowledge or the faculties of knowledge doesn't differentiate. So Goku would have the same applied knowledge, and he just overstimulates his brain to a point where it would be fried and capable of fighting. How about
Okay,
that?
and why do you think Domain would catch Goku?
I mean, shit, it's a domain around the area of Gojo. So if Goku wants to get
Okay, that
close to
that
Gojo, well, then he would need to be in that said area.
okay, yes, that's the area, but why do you think it's going to catch Goku? You realize that domains move at a certain speed, right?
Okay, I'm not saying it's going to catch Gojo, right? I don't care if, or Goku, right? I'm just saying the ability does this if to Goku was be catched. Now, I think Gojo's speed would be somewhere, or the domain activation would be somewhere around like thousands of times MFDO.
Okay, can you prove that?
Or actually, no, it would be infinite, right? Okay, yeah, I got you. So if the framework of the domain is just stimulate an infinite amount of knowledge, well, then it would take, or some type of knowledge, right, of that part will have to be make it infinite in that set moment, right? So then it could just be infinite via like the infinite amount of knowledge that be stimulated.
No, that's just the curse technique ability within the domain. I'm talking about the actual domain expansion time. How fast is a domain expansion?
You're not understanding. I'm
No, you're not
saying that
understanding.
it
You're
can
talking about
be
the
this
hold
because
on,
the entailment
Mock,
of the domain.
Mock. You're talking about the curse technique that's imbued within a domain
I
expansion.
understand that. I
There's
understand that. But
clearly
I'm saying
Mock.
the entailment of that curse technique makes this to be the case.
No, because they're clearly two separate things. This is actually heavily backed up when Mahito uses his domain expansion. There's the domain expansion activation, and then there's the imbued with the curse technique.
You're not
Right.
understanding. I'm
So
saying
so
that the
what so what
nature of
I'm
the curse
asking
technique for
you is
Genesis.
yes, there's infinitely repeating information, but what I'm asking you is to quantify the domain expansion time. Can you prove that to me?
Okay, the nature of it is inclusive with all the other situations. Okay, that's all. Oh my God, hold on. It's inclusive with all of these other situations since the ability is infinite knowledge, right? So the
Okay,
knowledge
the
in
ability
itself
is
is what I'll
infinite
be
knowledge. I'm
referencing.
talking about the expansion rate, Mark. I'm talking
Yes,
about the
yes,
expansion
yes,
rate.
yes, 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 yes. I'm saying there is ways to up it, right? There's infinite form of knowledge that Gojo would have at his possession. There will be infinite ways. You're not understanding my point at all. I'm saying
No,
the
if
information in
anything,
itself
no,
is what gains the ability to do
Mock,
any of these
Mock.
factors.
Okay, Mock. I'm gonna mute you for a second because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna go ahead and repeat this point to you. You keep repeating yourself because you keep trying to bring up the actual curse technique that's imbued within the domain expansion. You keep talking about the infinite knowledge thing. I am not talking about that. I am talking about the moment Gojo says domain expansion, unlimited void, how fast is the void expanding? I'm not talking about the infinite knowledge Mock. I'm talking about how fast is the domain expanding around Goku.
Tracking my point. I said it was infinite. You asked me, can you
Okay, so then prove it's infinite.
Nate, oh my fucking God. That's what we got at this point. I'm saying the nature of the ability would be inclusive of other points and set factors. So it would be able to be infinite via this set thing. You just think the set thing wouldn't apply. I'm explaining why it would apply. You're just going circular. You're not understanding shit.
No, the only thing going circular is you here because I'm telling you that there's entirely two separate things that has to happen with the domain expansion. There's the activation of the domain, and then there's the imbued of the curse technique within the domain. And I've already told you that this has been talked about even when Mahito did his domain expansion. There is a two-step process to domain expansions. Do you understand that?
With other people's domain experiences, sure.
I'm
I don't
talking
think
about
it would.
domain expansions in general, my guy.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't think it would be like the normative perspective. The domain expansions wouldn't apply to Gojo since he's a
Okay,
differentiated
prove that.
person. So it's not like I can sense scans here, but sure. You've read JJK, correct?
Obviously.
I mean, okay. So, are you aware of it being stated multiple times that Gojo's domain expansions works on different planes than others? It was referenced that in the Mahito versus Gojo, like the 0.1 second domain in Shibuya or whatever, it was literally stated by Mahito. His domain is on a different framework of mine, and then he had to like react to it or whatever. And I think Kenjaku says the same shit. when he's referencing Yuta being above Gojo or Yuta being can't be Gojo, right? He references
Hmm.
specific things. Are you aware of this?
Okay, so why would different framework equal infinite speed?
Look, you're lost. I'm
I'm
saying,
not
right?
lost. I asked you a simple question. Why would different
Yes.
framework equal infinite speed?
And the point was that the ability, right? The point we were just on that you need evidence was that the ability, right, works different, or Gojo's ability of his domain expansion works differently than others, right? And
Okay,
I'll
differently
say
does
that
not
if
mean infinite speed, Mock.
you're not understanding, it's a deduction thing, right? There's multiple things that come to this set conclusion. You think one thing would automatically necessitate the set conclusion.
No, I
That's why I
don't.
think you're lost.
No. The only one that's thinking that only one thing equals another thing is you. I specifically asked you, like, why is it infinite speed? You brought up Mahito saying it works on a different framework. And then I asked you very simply, why does different framework equal infinite speed? Now you're trying to cope and say that I'm like not tracking. That's the claim that you made. Again, we're going to go ahead and apply Sagan standard. You made an extraordinary claim. Now I'm going to need you to provide extraordinary evidence. Why does different framework require automatically equal infinite speed? Go ahead.
It's a deductive thing, right? If I'm saying if the framework of the ability works different, the framework of the domain, well, the infinite amount of knowledge, right? We understand infinite amount of knowledge would be an infinite amount of synonymous things, right? That would know. So if that was the case, then it would just be applicable that he could make it infinite speed because he would have that knowledge to do it, right? And
Okay, no,
infinite will
because
come
there's a
encompass
two-step
all the things.
process to domains. I've already went over that point. I don't know why you're repeating the curse technique imbuement, but I've already talked about how there's a two-step process with the domain. I don't know why you keep going back to the
Bro,
curse technique that's
what?
being imbued within a domain, but I'm talking about the two-step process that makes a domain expansion. I'm talking about the first step. You keep repeating the second step. I
I
don't know
think you're
why
kind
you
of
keep.
lost. You
I'm not
know
lost. I
Gojo's
clearly.
wait,
All
what?
right,
Wait, hold
give me
on.
1 second.
Hold on, bro. What? Sure. Oh my goodness. I thought it would be kind of obvious what I would be referencing, right? But when I'm
All right. So, but the fastest was Mahito, who had already activated his curse technique. The realization of an innate domain plus the activation of a curse technique, the two-step process was combined into one. Now, what did I say earlier about how many steps there were in a domain?
you said there was two, but that doesn't.
Yes. So, and
What?
then what does the narrator say here? How many steps does it say there is about a domain?
Wait, hold on. Repeat that.
You are slow as a motherfucking snail, dude.
Nigga, no, because
What
someone
I
else is talking in
said
my ear.
was no. You're slow as a fucking snail.
Oh my god.
So told you earlier that there's a two-step process to the domain expansion. I told you that one is the actual imbuement of curse technique in the domain, right? Or I told you there's the expansion of the domain, and then I told you there's the actual imbuement of the curse technique, right? And I said that's a two-step process. And then I showed you this scan. This is the narrator telling you that there is a two-step process in a domain.
Bro,
right?
you're
So
lost.
so no, I'm not lost.
You completely
So so
are.
so the other thing I'm going to ask you real quick. So you're trying to add that Mahito, since he claimed that the that Gojo's domain expansion is on a different framework that must equal infinite speed. So can I ask you a question? Does Mahito have infinite speed?
Um, he could. I mean, shit. His, I guess you could say,
But does he?
perfection form. I mean, his perfection form could. I mean, I'll
Okay,
just be agnostic
okay.
because I don't
This
really
is
know shit about Mahito.
of course you don't know shit about Mahito. So all right. Base Mahito, the one that you see on screen, the one with the scars on his face, does he have infinite speed?
Nigga, I just said I'm agnostic. What? You asked me the question like I'm automatically gain
Why
some
are
type
you
of
going to
other
join a
knowledge.
debate if you're agnostic?
You know what a Gnostic is? Or at least
Yes.
in this, okay, it means
Yes.
I don't know about this said thing individually. Of course, I've been knowing about other
So
things
then
that
it's
I've
a
been
moot
claiming.
point and you can't substantiate. So that's another
What?
concession of a point. Let's move
No,
on to the
agnostic just
hollow
means
purple.
I want you to provide
So
evidence for the claim or the position you'll be taking because the information I have doesn't or put on any contrary or position. So it would
no,
more
so
rely on
so
you to get evidence.
no, so you made a claim, and I've already applied Sagan standard to it. You did not back that claim. I have already explained to you, like, about domains and how many steps there are to it. And then I asked you, why does different framework equal infinite speed? That's another claim that was another burden that was placed upon you that you could not live up to. And then I asked you if Mahito has infinite speed, and then you said essentially that you don't know. So
Mm,
again, we come to another point where it seems that you can't back up your claims, meaning that since I have overall overwhelmed you in terms of points and in terms of evidence, this is
what?
another conceived point since you weren't able to back up your claim. Now let's move on to Hollow Purple.
Okay.
So
You are like being completely slow. When I say agnostic, I mean the evidence you provide doesn't substantiate the position you take. So there will be
no, it
more necessary
absolutely does.
evidence.
But the problem is you said that you didn't know.
I
So
did not
why
know,
would
but I
you
said I
argue
was
the point that
agnostic.
you
So I
don't?
mean, I'm questioning it because of that fact. You're being slow as shit. What the hell?
No,
If I say I'm
so
agnostic and I say I don't know, it means the lack of information I have just means I want you to provide information or evidence to the stage where the position you'll be taking. That's not a concession. And also, just because I'm agnostic on this one part doesn't mean that I'm not, or I'm agnostic on every single other part. You just bring in one random saying and expect me to know everything. That's retarded and disingenuous. That's fuck. And also, when I reference
I never
infinite
said
speed, wait, chill,
I never
chill,
claimed that
chill.
you
I was
needed
not
to know,
done.
I never
Chill,
claimed
bro.
that you needed
Chill.
to know
Oh my
everything.
god, bro. Chill, bro.
All right, hold on. So shut the fuck up for a minute. So I never claimed that you were supposed to know everything. I asked you about how fast a domain is. You tried to say it was infinite speed, which you kept talking about the infinite knowledge thing, which I told you that that was the imbuement of the curse technique, not the actual domain expansion rate. That was a point that you just could not deal with and you could not answer. So then we moved on to talking about how there's a two-step process within a domain expansion. That was something that I would assume that you had no idea about until I brought the evidence of the narrator actually straight up confirming that there is in fact a two-step process to the domain expansion. There's the realization of an innate domain, and then there's also the imbuement of the curse technique. That is a two-step process. And so I told you that you kept relying on the second step. You're not giving me evidence for the first step. You then tried to make the claim of different framework equals infinite speed, which I asked you to substantiate and you failed to do so. The other thing I was going to go ahead and ask you as if Mahito is infinite speed, more specifically the base Mahito that has scars on his face. And once again, you just come back to the point of like, you don't know, it could be, which again, you're not substantiating anything, you're not answering anything, so that is a lost point. But the reason I went ahead and asked you if he has infinite speed is because there is no way that he can actually perceive that it's on a different framework if if the domain was infinite speed, right? Unless you're trying to say that people that are slower than fucking the speed of light can somehow perceive infinite speed, which is brain dead as shit. It's like, I don't know how to, I don't know what to tell you. So you could not substantiate Gojo's infinity. You scaled Gojo's infinity to one dimensional. You could not substantiate Gojo's domain expansion, which I'm going to go ahead and say it's immobile. and I asked you to move on to Hollow Purple. Simple as that.
That this entire time, and the reason I believe that to be the case is because you've been muting me and not understanding what I'm saying. If Gojo activated his domain at all, first that contradicts the immobile point. That shit's ass. And also,
I said immobile because you couldn't
bro, can I
substantiate your
actually
claim.
speak without you trying to interrupt? Damn, nigga. But no, so what I think it would be just be deductive, right? Gojo's activated his domain before, right? You understand that? Let's go slow. Gojo domain has been activated. You agree? Hello.
I hear you, man. Just like I'm trying to process just how fucking brain dead you are.
I'm
So
asking you a singular question.
when
Am I
I said
brain dead?
immobile, so when I said immobile is because you could not justify the speed of the domain expansion, which I asked you to do several times. I asked you
Oh
how
my god.
fast does a domain expand?
Oh my god. Okay. I'm asking you just this one simple question.
He is slow as shit. What's up, Nova? What's good, Nova?
Yeah, it was good.
What's good?
Hold on, give me a second.
All right.
All right, bro, I'll catch you. Nah, I'm about to do something. Yo, anyway, I'm back.
All right. What's good? What you wanted to talk
Yo,
about?
can you hear me?
Yeah. What you want to talk about?
Yeah, I guess we could discuss. Yeah, I said we. I guess we could discuss Gojo versus Goku.
Okay. All right. All right. So why do you think Gojo beats Goku?
Yeah. I'm gonna say he's gonna win via domain expansion. I don't really have a. This is my first time actually discussing this and running this, so yeah. I'm gonna say that's his main win con, domain expansion.
Okay, so I would assume that you watched what happened prior. So how fast do you think a domain
Yeah.
is?
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, I think a domain is gonna be like. Would you agree to like massively hypersonic or like is that like a crazy thing or to say
I
or?
mean, you can say domain is expanding at massively hypersonic, but you realize that Goku is like I can get him to like sextillions or quadrillions the time of speed of light. Like
Oh, you
domain is
mean?
not going to catch him if it's only moving at hypersonic.
Yeah, I don't got a problem with that. I'm gonna make the claim that the like domain extension is not gonna matter what speed it's going at. I'm gonna use analogical evidence to state it's gonna be similar to like I guess Naruto in terms of transforming into Kurama chakra form. Is it gonna be a form instead of just like a just a ability or move? It's simply just he's gonna start in domain expansion because it's a form. And the evidence for it being a form is simply going to be the case that we know when you activate domain expansion is going to, it's just going to be an expansion of a simple domain, which is just like an aura around you. We know that it boosts all of your stats, makes you stronger, makes you faster, amps your curse energy. So yeah, I think it's just going to be defined as a form.
Okay, so all right, so question for you: is a domain expansion changing Gojo's looks?
Um, no, not necessarily.
Okay, then it's not a form.
Why is that? Why are you? That's kind of arbitrary. Or are you going to define?
It's
a
not
form
it's
of
not
a,
arbitrary, it's not random at all. Because when you define what a form is and how you're trying to correlate a form to Gojo, you're trying to correlate that since there is some kind of change between base Gojo and domain expansion Gojo, you're
yeah.
trying to say that there's some kind of change in Gojo when there's not really any kind of change, especially when we talk about transformation.
Okay.
Because like a true transformation, for instance, would be like Goku, for instance, when he goes Super Saiyan. That would in fact be a form or a transformation because he's actually changing, he's actually transforming. We
Okay.
even know this even in a scientific state if we want to talk about what
Yeah,
what
if you want to go into scientific, that I can go philosophical in
so
terms
so
of
so so what I'm saying
various
here
forms, but
is why would you correlate the realization of an innate domain and then the imbuement of a curse technique? Why are you trying to correlate that, essentially create a false equivalence fallacy by bringing up Naruto, by saying that it's going to work this way and Gojo's going to start this way because it's a form of Gojo, even though Gojo is not actually transforming?
well, it seems like this is going to be a semantic dispute. So,
It's
I'll
not
use it.
semantics. I'm just asking you a basic question.
Well, it's semantics because we're arguing about the definition of what form is going to entail. So yeah, it's going to be a semantic dispute, buddy.
I
But
mean,
anyway,
if you want to say if you want to call semantics, like that's up to you. I just disagree. But the other thing I'm going to tell you is
you
like,
can disagree, but that's just gonna. I'm just gonna say Hitchens razor to that. But
okay.
anyway,
So, all
let me
right.
just continue with some more
Hold on.
analogical
Let me
evidence.
finish
So
what I was
let's
saying.
take the Raikage for
So hold
example.
on. So let me
Raikage when
finish.
he uses the
All right. Let me finish what I was saying because I didn't finish. You just immediately started kicking in with your Naruto argument. I've already shut down the Naruto argument by saying it's a false equivalence fallacy. I've already shut down why it doesn't work for JJK because Gojo is not transforming. It is not a form. It is an imbuement of a curse technique and is the activation of an innate domain. The other thing I've already correlated and I've already said, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it again, is that bringing up Naruto, trying to say that it works for Naruto, therefore it works for JJK, is just completely a false equivalence fallacy and overall doesn't work. The other thing I'm going to go ahead and talk about is I've already said we've already went over the we've already went over the speed at which a domain moves, right? You said hypersonic. I've already said that I can get Goku to sextillions or even quadrillions the time of speed of light. And so domain isn't just going to catch him. And then that's when you went straight to Naruto. So far, as far as I can tell, I've already shut down pretty much everything. So it's like
the thing is you haven't. You've just ignored all my arguments, and then you have applied your own arbitrary.
I don't know
You have
why. I
applied
don't
your
know
own
why now
arbitrary
you're
standard.
trying
Are
to.
you going to continue to interrupt me because you're scared of letting me speak, or you're just going to let me?
All right. Go debate Hashi, webcam, Parrot, Spencer, or real debaters? Okay, bro.
Hey, bro, why you arguing with everybody that come up here, bro?
Hey, people are requesting today, bro.
Nah, you know what? This whole list, I like the whole thing except the Kaba part.
Okay.
The rest of it, I can I like everything else, bro. That's everything else is good. I like all your takes.
Interrupting slash kicking is crazy. This shit is not a real debate. Yeah, you can think that. So, all right. So, Bryce, all right.
Yeah,
So you don't think that Kaba's going to solo all of Dragon Ball Z?
No, not at all. No.
Okay, why?
I think he's inexperienced, bro. To some DBZ characters.
Mm-hmm.
He's in his like I think he would lose to Teen the Gohan. Teen Gohan
no.
Cell Saga.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So the thing I'm gonna say here. All right. So we know how powerful Gohan is at that point in time. We can say about Solar System, right?
Yeah.
You realize that